Lesson 7.2, found on page 265, is evaluate expressions involving exponents. So, our essential question, how do you use the order of operations to evaluate expressions involving exponents? So, remember, with order of operations, you perform operations in parentheses first. Find the values of numbers with exponents. So parentheses, exponents, multiply and divide from left to right, add and subtract from left to right. So remember the PEMDAS, that helps us remember the order of operations. All right, a numerical expression is a mathematical phrase that uses only numbers and operation symbols. So this is a numerical expression, 3 plus 16 times 2 to the second power, or 4 times the quantity. When you have an operation going on in parentheses, you say the quantity, and that tells us that we have parentheses going on. 4 times the quantity, 8 plus 5 to the first power, and 2 to the third power plus 4, these are all numerical expressions. You evaluate a numerical expression when you find its value. To evaluate an expression with more than one operation, you must follow a set of rules called the order of operations. And as you recall, we did this at the beginning of the year, so we're reviewing. All right. An archer shoots 6 arrows at a target. 2 arrows hit the ring with 8 points. And 4 arrows hit the ring with 4 points. Evaluate the expression 2 times 8 plus 4 squared to find the archer's total number of points. So depending on where they hit the target, they get more points. The closer they get to the center, they get more points. So if they hit the ring out here, they get less points than if they hit the red or the yellow. All right, so follow the order of operations. Write the expression, and there are no parentheses. So as we work through our order of operations, there are no parentheses, so we don't have to worry about that. There are, however, there is an exponent. So find the numbers with exponents. So that would be 4 squared. So let's do our power lines. So we need 2 power lines because it's to the power of 2, and we put 4s on the power lines, so that equals 16. All right, so now we have 2 times 8 plus 16. So we've taken care of the exponents. So now we look, what do we do next? Well, multiplication and division come before addition and subtraction. So we will do this operation next. So we're going to multiply from left to right. So 2 times 8 is 16. Now we can finally add, and we end up with 32. Whoops, I'm not on the screen, sorry. So the archer scores a total of 32 points. All right, so let's evaluate this numerical expression. There are no parentheses. Find the value of numbers with exponents. So here I have 3. So 2 to the third power. So 1, 2, 3 power lines. Put 2's on them. I end up with 4 times 2, which is 8. All right. So I have 24 divided by 8. Then I divide, I end up with 3. On the next page, 266, evaluate this expression, 72 divided by the quantity 13 minus 4 plus 5 times 2 to the third power. So there's going to be a lot of steps here. So first we write out the expression, which they did for us. Then we perform the operations in parentheses, because according to PEMDAS, parentheses comes first. So we do this one first. So 13 minus 4 is 9. So now we have 72 divided by 9 plus 5 times 2 to the third power. So now exponents is next. We've taken care of the parentheses. So now exponents. We have 2 to the third power, so we put down 3 power lines. Put 2's on those power lines, and we end up with 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 more is 8. So 72 divided by 9 plus 5 times 8. I forgot to do the words over here, so find the values of numbers with exponents, which we already did over here. So now we've taken care of those two. Now we multiply and divide from left to right. Okay, so multiplication does not come before division. They're the same, they're equal, they're on the same line, so they're equal. So you do the operations going from left to right at that point. So we have 72 divided by 9 plus 5 times 8. So multiplication over here does not come before division. We're going from left to right. Division comes before the multiplication in this problem. So 72 divided by 9 is 8 plus 5 times 8. Now we multiply. So 5 times 8 is 40. Now we have 8 plus 4, and our final answer is 48. If you don't follow the order of operations, you will come up with the wrong answer. Following the order of operations is really important. All right, example 2. Last month, an online bookstore had approximately 10 to the 5th power visitors to its website. On average, each visitor bought 2 books. Approximately how many books did the bookstore sell last month? Okay, so this is how many visitors, and everybody who came in bought 2 books. So write an expression. So the number of books sold is equal to the number of visitors times the number of books each visitor bought. So this is our number of visitors here times 2 books. So now we'll write the expression and evaluate it. So we have 10 to the 5th power times 2. So according to order of operation, the first thing we're doing is exponents because there are no parentheses. So that would be, if you remember from our last lesson, you could just look at this and put this number of zeros behind the 1. So it'd be 1 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros behind, so it's 100,000. But if you want to, you can multiply the whole thing out. Let's move it up here where we've got a little room. So I'm going to put down 5 power lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put 10 on those. So this is 100. This is 100. This is 10. So now we have 100 times 100 is 10,000 times 10, which is 100,000. The easier way with base 10 is you can just put the zeros behind, but you can figure it out if you don't remember that trick. Okay, so I have 100,000 times 2, which is 200,000, because 2/100,000 is 200,000. So the bookstore sold approximately 200,000 books last month. Wow, that's really great. All right, so explain why the order of operations is necessary. We talked about that. If an expression has more than one operation, you have to do them in the right order or you're not going to get the right answer. So if an expression has more than one operation, you must perform the operations. Maybe I should be more clear. You must perform the operations in the correct order to achieve or get the correct answer. Okay, let's take a look at a couple more. Okay, so remember PEMDAS, PEMDAS. All right, so evaluate this expression. So we do have parentheses, so we'll do parentheses first. But within those parentheses, we have an exponent. So that has to happen very first before we can subtract the 10. So first thing we do is we put down 2 power lines, put the 5, the base on the power lines, we end up with 25. So inside the parentheses we have 25 minus 10. Now we can do the operation in the parentheses. So 25 minus 10 is 15. All the time we're bringing down that 9. 9 plus 15 is 24. So our final answer is 24. Let's do let's do this one here. Let's do number 3 here. This one's a little bit challenging. So, according to order of operations, we do the parentheses first. Notice the exponent is outside of the parentheses. That means that the power applies to whatever this together ends up being. Up here, let's get them both on the screen here. Up here, that 2 only applied to the 5. That's it, because it was inside the parentheses next to the 5. This 2 applies to the whole quantity. So I have to do this first, then figure out, then apply the exponent to it. So 15 minus 3 is 12 to the second power. So that 2, that second power, is applied now to the 12. Okay, so then I put down my 2 power lines because it's to the power of 2 divided by 9, just keeps coming along. Okay, so 12 times 12 is 144 divided by 9. I don't know that off the top of my head. Maybe you guys do. So that would go in 1 time, and I'd end up with 54. 9 goes into 54 6 times. Nice and even. So the final answer is 16. All right. Let's take a look at our notes. Okay, I'm on page 57 of my notebook. You might be near that. Evaluate expressions using exponents. We have to remember our order of operations. My notes on that are on page 132 of my notebook at the back of the book. So first we check for parentheses. In this case there is none, so we'll work on exponents first. multiplication comes before addition, then we add. Okay, let's look at another example here. So we do have parentheses this time. We have to do what's in parentheses first, then the exponent. Multiplication must be done left to right, and in this case we're dividing first, even though there is a multiplication problem. Then we can multiply because we always move from left to right. And then finally we add, we end up with 48. Okay, good luck on your PMT.